Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Herminia, so back in Card Fight Vanguard deck profile, so because George of Tech, come subscribe, then sorry. This time we're covering set 4 for Herminia, Lyrical Monasterio. So, Herminia is that one interesting deck where its keyword felt like it said more about the deck than the deck itself, which was powerful, you know, where you had no soul cards and you're supposed to be super powerful because that's what your keyword is literally called. And then Fortia existed, and Fortia, at least to my knowledge, was a lot better than Herminia was. And then, you know, she got some good support, but then Fortia was still ahead of her, and then, yeah, they just decided we're just going to take the route of restanding one unit and just make it restand the front row. So, yeah, let's go and get started. Shall we see what we got? Because honestly, we went from, you know, being slightly, or for me, balanced, in my opinion, to if the right scenario is available, this is a one-shot deck. I've seen it almost happen, and I'm pretty sure it can happen, so let's go and get started, shall we? First up, we have Cutie Topic Rabinia, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 6k base, auto road time, 1 second draw card, standard starter, not just about it, you can really run any starter you really want to, because none of the ride line requires this, but might as well go for the theme since it was released along Herminia's line, might as well. Then we have our triggers. First, we're going to Overtrigger and Greatest Star Ertanza. Grade 0 boost, 50k shield, 5k power. Overtrigger, remember to trigger in your deck. We're going to vote as a trigger, move that card to draw a card, choose one of your mutes, it gets plus +1 for the turn. And if you vote it during your draw check, activate its additional effect, which you can during this fight, you get during your turn all your rear guards plus 10k power. Okay, all around pretty solid. Not as powerful as it is in Fortia, where you board rush from the get-go, but being able to get 10,000 regardless is great, especially because in a deck that does 5 attacks in total, with 4 of those being rear guard attacks, is good, so you know you don't have to worry about boosting for like the first battle or the second battle or the 4th battle or the 5th battle, because most likely Herminia is going to be a 3rd battle. So being able to get the free +10s all around pretty solid. It's a nice card because either you check this defensively and you survive the turn, you get a free draw on top of that, or you sack it offensively and for the rest of the game your opponent's going to have a fun time guarding. Again, not nearly as threatening as it is in other decks such as Kyrie and Fortia, which get more numbers on top of that and rush as physically as fast as possible, but it still does well in Herminia, so might as well run our turns up. Then we have our normal triggers. First, we run 3 copies of Transparent Snowy Night Bear Toy, grade 0 boost, 5k shield, 4k base, continues guard circle. If your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 or greatest, 5k shield. You know, 10k shield, nice to have. It's a draw trigger. It helps increase the hand, adds a little bit more to the guarding side. Wasn't liked about it. Easy 3 of in my mind. We have 4 fronts. It's no Skipadavi, grade 0 boost, 15k shield, not 50, 4k base, continues guard circle. If your opponent's vanguards are grade 3 or greatest, 5k shield. So 20k shield, nice to have. It's a front trigger. Palavi recently has been, any time that I don't want her to show up, she will. What I mean by this is whenever I'm playing against the deck, or I want the deck to lose, doesn't matter what deck it is specifically as long as Palvi's in it, Palvi will casually just show up in the drive check or the damage check pretty much whenever it's completely inconvenient for me. I don't know why she started hating me, she just does. I mean, that also translates to the fact that she will show up randomly at really good intervals when I'm using the deck, but I'm just saying, she really hates me for some reason. 4 of Palvi. It's a nice front trigger and it's a 20k shield. And if you want to beat me easily, play Lyrical Monasterio and make sure Palvi's a 4, because I promise you it will show up. So take that as you will. Then we have 4 copies of Precious Tune Edwidge. It's a boost, 15k shield, 4k base, critical trigger, auto rear, the amount boosted, put this unit to soul, choose one of your units, and just take it for the turn. Okay, this deck has ways to soul blast during the battle phase. It's really only here, like, worst case scenario, if you have to just start calling things to call things, call this to rear guard, send it to soul, proc off a battle phase effect, get 2k more. That's literally the only reason why this is here. You call this if worst case scenario wise. Worst case scenario being you have to start calling triggers out the wazoo because you have no other choice. 4 of the crit is nice to have. You're playing a deck with foam or restanding. You're crazy not to run crits in general. 4 of. Then we have our 4 heals inside of Relief Fabolia. Grade 0 boost, 15k shield, 5k power, standard heal, and that's about it. You can really run any heal if you want. You can run the counter heals if you want to too, but I prefer the consistent 15k shields of the vanilla heals rather than the fluctuating 10 to 25k shields of the counter heals. But I mean, take that as you will, run whatever you want. I just run Fabolia because, I don't know, I feel like Fabolia fits the theme of Herminia. I don't know why. And then we move on to our grade 1. So we're going to run 2 copies of Inconspicuous Ambuscade Musatsu. Musatsa. I'm not going to be able to say that name at all. Great on boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Okay, anyone else thinks this just looks like Taya Gardner from Yu-Gi-Oh? I swear, every time I look at this, I swear it's Taya. Anyways, powerful, auto rear guard circle. When this unit boosts a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Herminia's card name, if your soul has no cards in it, all your front row units have 2k power for that turn, and at the end of that battle, put at the bottom, countercharge 1. All around, pretty solid. She's a plus 2k to the front row, which isn't too powerful, but it does help set up Edwidge if you have to use Edwidge, but also it, you know, if you, it does stack if, actually, no, wait. Well, it does if you find a way to restand it and you find a way to restand the Vanguard. But, you know, being able to give 2k for the entire turn for free is great. And then it also gets you a possible countercharge while also preventing you from decking out, which is nice, meaning you can use more CB on your other card effects. So all around, Musetsa is a very solid grade 1. She is not super amazing because while her countercharge is not a hard once per turn, it does kind of back and forth with the deck since you want to have all of your CB face down, or like you want to have a certain amount of CB face down. So, you know, sometimes the timing with her can be 50-50. But hey, free 2k to front row is nice, and the counter charge for free is also nice, so easy 2 of. Then we have 3 copies of Pumpkin Breeze Lebitia, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, auto rear guard circle at the end of your turn. If you have 5 or more units of the powerful ability, literally this entire deck's normal units except for the PG have powerful, so that ability will almost always go off. You may return all your rear guards and combat her to hand, which is nice because unlike Fortia, where you can't bounce PGs, this allows you to bounce PGs as long as everything else on your board has powerful, because it doesn't say 5 or more other, it says 5 or more in total, including herself. So being able to bounce a column, which may have a PG in it, is great, meaning worst case scenario, if you have to go all on offense, she can kind of bring you back from that. And another ability is Powerful Auto Guard Circle. If you have a Vanguard with Herminia in its card name and you have no soul cards, use 5k shield. Cool. 10k shield, nice to have, works defensively and offensively because she can call herself, and again, she can bounce her column, making it harder for your opponent to kill the unit that was probably in front of her or behind her that was really important to you. And again, can bounce anything, so as long as your full board except for one thing isn't powerful, that last card can be anything, meaning it can be a PG, which you boosted with or boosted for to swing at the Vanguard and then bounce that column, so you have a PG back and you have this back and you're still able to make offense, and she still has 10k shield. So all around, Libetta is a very good card for offense and defense. I like her a lot, and she has wings, which is kind of my bias here because I really think she looks cute with those, so 3 of. Then we have 4 copies of Budgeting Tone Signe. This is the opposite case where I don't hate her wings, but I don't like it either, and I, like, as much as I think her skill is great, I just don't like her skill for some reason, to where I feel like, I don't know, Libetta just would deserve to be at a 4 more if Signe wasn't the hard thing that was carrying this deck during the battle phase. Great on boost, 5k shield, 8k base, powerful auto rear guard. When she boosts anything, if your soul has no cards in it, by counterblasting 1, choose one of your units, it gives 5k for the turn, which is cool. You know, eats up CB, which does help with the deck wanting to have 0 to little CB at all. Being able to increase more numbers of the turn is great too, especially when you're doing a restand with the front row. And then their other skill is auto rear guard circle. At the end of battle, this unit boosted. If you have a Vanguard powerful ability, stand her and choose a card from your soul and put it to drop zone. It's a mandatory effect. So the thing I love about this is because this effect happens first, she will always stand. It doesn't matter if you have 0 soul, 5 soul, 6 soul, doesn't matter. She is always guaranteed to stand as long as you have a Vanguard powerful, and you soul blast, meaning you trigger powerful a lot more easier, and meaning you can trigger off Edgewood with this. All around, pretty good like card, and not to mention again, the powerful ability being counterblast 1, free 5k to something. It's just really nice. I love Signe a lot. I think her skill is good. I just don't know why I don't like it for some reason, but it helps a lot during the battle phase. You have an infinite booster that works with the restanding front row. It consistently drops out your soul, meaning it can consistently trigger powerful and fluctuate with Edwidge in the powerful regard. And if you're in powerful while she's boosting, she gets a free 5k. Easy 4 of, and I can't really say more about that. Then we have 4 copies of our PG in Soapy Splash Ravenia. Great on boost, 0 shows, K base, continue sentinel. You may only have it for 4 summons in deck. Also put on guard circle. Choose one of your units. It cannot be hit on the battle. And if your hand has 2 or more cards in it, choose a card from your hand, discard it. Standard PG, nothing too special about basically means if this and only one card is in your hand, you place it on guard circle. You don't have to discard one, which is great. Because that means, you know, you can basically as you want in the early game, and then when your opponent counterattacks you, you can just throw on the PG when you have 1 hand card, flip them off, and you're immediately safe from it, which all around is pretty solid. Being able to defend yourself is great in this deck. However, unlike Fortia, you're not really rushing in the early game unless like you open a very specific way. In that case, by all means, go for it. But you know, when the late game comes around and your opponent's hitting you hard with counterattacks, having this PG to help defend you from your opponent's big ones are pretty nice as well. So for Ravenia, you can really run any of the Lyrical Monasterio PGs because most of them have the same effect. But I just chose Ravenia because Fortia has it, and Fortia and Herminia are package deals. That's pretty much how I see it. Then we have last grade 1, one of in the right deck, none in the main deck of Snipeful Eye Larynge, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base, act Vanguard or rear guard circle once per turn by soul blasting 1 and ditching a hand card, draw a card. Cool. It works on Vanguard, it works on rear guard, which is why I had a warrant reason to run her in my main deck when she first came out. And it literally triggers powerful for you. You soul blast out the starter, you ditch something, and then you just replace it. The important thing is you get powerful active. And speaking of which, powerful contains Vanguard Circle. If your soul has no cards in it, when you would ride an attached Peach Entrez from your ride deck, you may ride without discarding a card from your hand. Cool. Free ride deck. That's nice. She is one of the originators of the free ride deck if that didn't come from Rich Kenya for Fortia's line. But cool. It's nice. It triggers powerful. It gets you free ride deck. What's nice about it, you obviously don't need in the main deck because we have everything else that can trigger powerful, mainly you. So one of in the ride deck, none in the main deck, but she's a nice grade 1. Then move on to our grade 2s. 4 copies of Immense Aptitude Relay, because everyone likes cards that can give you free drive checks, and that's literally what she does. Grade 2 have 5k shield, 10k base, act rear guard once per turn. By soul blasting 1, choose one of your vanguards, goes 5k for the turn. Cool! You end up having extra soul, free 5k to van. That's great. And then powerful auto rearguard circle when she attacks into a vanguard if your soul has no cards in it. By current blasting 2, little bit hefty, but remember you want to have little to no CB available, so that's good that it's hefty. Also, we have counter charges that can mess with this, and the new Herminia can cut this cost literally in half, so that's great. Anyway, she gives us 10k for that turn. And then if you have a grade 3 or greater vanguard, Herminia's card name till end of battle, this unit performs drive checks. I remember the first time I used this, and for a long time after that too, I believed that it had to swing into a grade 3 for that skill, until I realized it could swing it to anything for that skill. So cool. 20k swing, which can then turn into drive checks, is great. The downside is you have to CB2 before you get the 10k, but hey, it's nice. And that 10k stays for the turn, meaning if you restand her via either the two Herminia's effects, she's going to get that 10k again if you use that skill again. All around, very good card. Gets drive checks, can enter powerful for you, and is a 20k swing the entire turn. 4 of Relay, very good card, and she's very reliable. God damn it, I messed it up. We also the jaw joke. I'm just gonna just ditch it 4 of. Anyways, then we have 4 copies of Maya Ensemble Nara, the card I can never use correctly. Grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, auto when placed on rearguard circle during your main phase. Card box one, choose a card from your soul, call it to an open rearguard circle. Then choose a card from your hand for each card in your soul and discard it. The way I do this is dumb because I'll have cards that can soul blast, but I'll call her first, because for some reason the dot doesn't connect in my mind about this part of the effect until after I do it. Like, I am constantly aware this effect is there and that I have to pay the cost for it, but then I completely forget about it in the moment that I'm making the decision to call her, and then right as I'm doing the skill of calling, I'm then realizing, oh wait, I should have placed the Soul Blaster first. I don't know why. I've done this so many times, and I cannot use that effect properly for the life of me, but it just does. And then this other skill is Powerful Auto Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or Vanguard, if your soul has no cards, then she will attack a power for the turn. Cool. Free 15k swing. It does stack, so if she swings again via her, the Herminia restage to 20k swing, which is nice. And not to mention the fact she can trigger Powerful and get you Rearguards all at the same time, meaning you can get this thing onto the board and you consistently trigger Powerful if you need to. Aura Nara is just a very good grade 2. I love her skill a lot. I think she's good. She's a nice 4 of, if only I could use her properly. And then we have 4 copies of Rose of Ecstasy, Custodia. Grade 2, Intercept, 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when she is placed on the rearguard circle. If you have a Vanguard powerful ability, by slow blasting 1, check the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card with a different card name from this unit, and with the powerful ability from among them, reveal it, call it to rearguard circle if it's a grade 2 or less, put it to your hand if it isn't, and if you put a card to your hand, choose guard from discard and shuffle your deck. So obviously you preferably want to get a rearguard, which is great, too. They can get rearguards, and it can also trigger powerful at the same time, but it also can get Persona Rides, which is nice. Or, you know, it can get orders if you end up running orders in this deck, which is also nice. And then shuffles the deck. And then powerful auto guard circle if you have Vanguard Herminia's card name and you have no soul cards, you 5k shield. Cool. 10k shield, gets rear guards, gets Persona Rides, gets orders. Wasn't like about it. Easy 4 of. It's an amazing grade 2. The only thing I hate about this is because most of the deck wants to pay soul via either stuff like Relay, Nara, this thing over here, like, because you want to pay soul with most of those ones, it feels kind of naff that you would, you know, use it to get top 5 stars for this one, especially because Nara technically does it better because she eats up CB, which sometimes hurtful, but again, sometimes very helpful. And, you know, it's just all around fair, but Custodia is still a good grade 2 nonetheless for guard power and at least rear guard getting so 4 of. Then we have our last grade 2 in the deck, one of in the right deck, none in the main deck, of Attract Peach Entrez. Grade 2 set 5k shield, 10k base, contains Vanguard or Rearguard. During the battle she attacks, she was 2k power for that turn, or for the battle. You know, not amazing. It could be better. That ability I consistently forget is there, because frankly it doesn't matter, but 2k is 2k. And then powerful contains Vanguard Circle. If your soul has no cards in it, when you would ride a Coming Beauty or Herminia from your ride deck, you can ride without discarding a card from your hand. All around pretty solid. For your ride deck, I mean, it's not as cool in my opinion as this one, which actually sets it up, but hey, I mean, we have Nara that can set it up, we have this that can set it up because the Vanguard does have powerful, we have this that can set it up, like, there are many ways to set up, so she's not an amazing grade 2, but she's not a bad one either, one of in the ride deck, none in the main deck. Then move on to our grade 3s. Run 2 copies of Coming Beauty Herminia in the main deck, because none in the ride deck, because you're running the evolution in the ride deck. Grade 3 turn Persona 13k base, active Vanguard Circle, counter boss 1, and this unit will get plus 5k power for that turn. Not a hard once per turn, so if you want to do what Leon did all the way back in Link Joker era, when I think it was either against Kote or his reverse self, where he just was like CB1 with Tetra Drive a bunch of times, and it slowly gained 2k for each interval. Yeah, if you want to do that, you can. I don't know why that's the first thing I think of whenever I read a CB1 skill, but whatever. That isn't a hard once per turn, which is rare, but still. And this other skill is powerful, Auto Vanguard Circle. At the end of battle, this unit attack if the total number of cards in your soul and face up in your damage zone is 0. Discard a card from your hand to choose one of your rear guards with the powerful ability and stand, and reduce the next time you CB this turn by 1. So, yeah, basically to combo this with her, you have to have her on the board, but cool, has ways to get drive checks, has ways to eat up CB in one go if you really want it to, and is literally just a discard for a free restand regardless of how great the opponent's at. All around, pretty solid. She's not amazing by any means because, you know, she doesn't power up any rear guards, and honestly, the CB 15k, as fun as that is for once per turn, I mean, you don't really use it on herself. I mean, I rarely use that skill. I mostly use it for these two. But, I mean, it's there as an option. She's not an amazing grade 3, but she's not a horrible one either. It's a nice 2-up. You know, numbers, worst case scenario if you need it, and rear guard restand for a simple cost of a discard. So there's that, 2 of. And we have last card in the deck, 3 of in the main deck, 1 of in the ride deck of our main grade 3, Enduring Beauty Herminia. Grade 3 to Persona 13k base, dress up Coming Beauty Herminia. During this fight, this card also requires a specified card. So as per the other dress up cards, when you're building the deck, these cards are considered 2 separate things, meaning you can run them both at 4, and it's fine, because even when the fight starts and they are considered the same name, it is still legal, because before the fight actually started, they were considered different names, so we're good. But then the other thing is to mention too, before I get into it, before I forget about it, is that these two can Persona right off each other, this one on top of this one, and vice versa. So you can take that into consideration if you want to change around your ride deck, but I do prefer this one in the ride deck because of its skills. Continues Vanguard Circle during your battle phase. If your damage zone has 3 or more face down cards in it, the cost of all your auto abilities of your front row units, including herself with the powerful ability, is reduced by CB1. So her next skill becomes free if that ability is active, but then this ability becomes cut in half as well. And of course, sadly, it doesn't affect these two. I mean, technically it would. Okay, it wouldn't affect this one because main phase, but and never mind, it wouldn't affect this one either because it's Soul Blast. But, you know, if you found a way to trigger that during the main phase by any means necessary, whether it's changing the card text and straight up cheating or figuring out some out to it, cool, it would reduce the CB by 1. And this other skill is powerful, Auto Vanguard Circle. If Persona of this turn, this cost may be paid by CB1 instead, or, you know, free. At the end of battle that she attacked, though, if your soul has no cards in it, by ditching Herminia and her card name, it can be herself, it can be this one, and you have you can send all your front rear guards powerful. So, yeah, we get a full board, well, not full board restand, but we get a front or rear guard restand while the opponent's at grade 2. Meaning, if you are willing to eat away at your CB this turn, you can spend 5 force CB to do quad drive with 5 attacks. So we took Fortia's bit of doing more drive checks with multi-attacks and then said, we're going to get one more multi-attack than you, and then we'll just get the same amount of drive checks as you, and we'll get around the same numbers. Yeah, that's literally what they were. They're like, out of spite, let's do better than Fortia. No, that's good, though. Like, rear guard restand, it can make abilities free during the battle phase, or at least cut down their CB by 1 cost, and is literally board restand, or not board restand, I don't know why I keep saying board restand. Front row restand the second you swing on grade 3, regardless of what grade your opponent's at, which means these, again, this triggers automatically, considering the fact you're at grade 3 for that to proc off. And, you know, we have guard power with this thing, and we have more guard power with her that can proc off this effect. We have infinite booster over here, and then we have free counter charge, which can therefore trigger this thing if we needed more of it. Like, amazing grade 3. There's nothing else I can say about this. Like, the only redeemable reason I could think of you would run this in the ride deck over this is because this one's restand, while they both can work on grade 3, is a lot easier, quote-unquote, to pull up than this one, because this one requires a Herminia, this one requires literally any hand card, and it can also trigger itself with the CB, but at the same time, this now goes off twice consistently, and hell, it could probably even go off a 3rd time if you have 2 of them, because, like, what, that would need 4 CB? If you have a full damage of 5, swing with 1, pay 2 CB, then swing with the other, pay 2 more CB. Swing with this thing, which now, yeah. In fact, if you actually had this in the back center, for some reason, you could therefore do a total of 6 drive checks that turn. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Either way, amazing grade 3. Not much more I can say about it. Does its job well. 3 of the main deck, 1 of the right deck. Enough for the do. That's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed. All around, this deck is fun to play. I used to not like the powerful deck at all. It wasn't that fun for me. I liked Fortia a lot more, mainly because Fortia fits my main playstyle. And while this deck still doesn't fit my main playstyle, it feels a lot more better considering we can now just do what I just described on first grade 3 turn. If I'm correct, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm right, we can do all that on first grade 3 turn, and the opponent just has to sit there and watch as we get 5 attacks and a bunch of drive checks for no arbitrary reason outside if we want to. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm someone here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your vanguards.